Hello, welcome to another Bing Chat Before Bedtime, although this one has been several bedtimes. As I mentioned in a previous video, I've been working through this very useful online resource called Learn Prompting. I'm going to include a link again. I know I've done it before, but I'll include a link. But here I'm going to link it to a specific section on image prompting. And in today's video, I'm going to show you some stuff that you might want to try out in Bing Chat. As you may or may not know, Bing Chat achieves the image rendering because it interacts with Dall-e. So that's how it gets that. So one thing that's fun to do is actually to work through this exercise here in the introduction section. And you notice the term here, low poly, and we'll ask Bing Chat in a moment exactly what that means. But there's some stuff here which I've played around with, and it does seem to work fine in Bing Chat. The reason why I say that is I'm assuming that these were done using, Dall-e directly. But yeah, they work fine in Bing Chat because it's connected to Dall-e, and it seems to accept a lot of the commands like 4K and isometric, highly detailed. As I got through this, I did notice that for some of the more things, for more specific art generating AI things, like Midjourney for instance, I didn't try these, but one thing I did try out, which seemed to work well, was these quality boosters and things like the style modifiers. I didn't try out the weighted terms quite so much, and the repetitions didn't work. It's just saying, well, you've already said very once, something along those lines, so that doesn't work very well. But yeah, a lot of this seemed fine. There was a section in here where it specifically referred to some other qualifiers, and I'm trying to find it. I can't remember if it was a second. No, I'll get there eventually. This was interesting. If you've ever used these programs, sometimes you get problems with hands. I tried this particular prompt here in Bing Chat, although I prefixed it by producer studio, produce in front of here, something like that. It handled hands fine. I didn't get this weird distorted hand, which I've seen in the past, I must admit. But the image I got was nothing like Brad Pitt. So just, if you're experimenting. And here it talks about Midjourney. Oh yeah, these were some of the things that did work. These stylizes. Now, in terms of things that work specifically in Dall-e, there is a really useful resource, the Dall-e prompt book. I'll include a link to that. And that's real. This one I haven't worked through yet, but I had a flick through. But it contains guides to, different styles, vibes, all sorts of things that can be leveraged in Dall-e. if you want to play around with this. So again, something else to check out. So let's actually get onto this. First of all, because one of the first images I'm going to give it a prompt for is poly. Now, I don't need to do this to pre-train or to, what's the word I tend to use this, soften up the prompts. I'm just doing this because it's interesting to see a description of what low poly means, because I figured it referred to polygons. So low poly is a term that describes 3D models that have few faces or polygons. It's a technique that reduces the complexity and detail of 3D objects, making it easier to render and manipulate in real-time applications such as video games. So that's where I'd seen the effect once I saw what it produced was in video games, particularly things like Descent or any other games where early on in video games history where, you know, they were trying to cut down on the amount of processing, and so there was all these polygons. If any of you ever watched the original Babylon 5 series, and if you remember the CGI graphics for that, the computer generated ones, yeah, a lot of the spaceships had a little bit of a polygon aesthetic to them, and I understand that was because of, you know, at the time that's what was available on that budget. But as a consequence, it's used as an aesthetic. So what I was going to try is this. So I've pre-prepared all of these. So draw a low poly picture of a corgi in a field with mountains in the background. So that was obviously inspired through doing the course, because there were several sections in that introduction that looked at basically creating someone in a spacesuit in a field with some mountains. And there we have our polygon corgi. The rest of these are ones that I just came up through mulling over, generally random ideas. So I quite like the idea of randomness in the image in terms of letting Bing decide what to pick. But this one I'd already had an idea. So I came up with it just by thinking of various artists and various buildings, and so here I'm just going to state it. So can you create an image of Halifax Central Library, which I actually love the architecture on that building. I actually love the building. It's just a great space. But I thought it'd be interesting to reimagine it in the style of HR Geiger and see what I end up with. Now I've run this a couple of times already, and normally there's lots of pipes in it. So we'll see. And there we have it. I don't know whether that would be particularly inviting to patrons. Is that someone's car being towed there? And then of course you can tweak these in various ways. I can add some aliens. Now that got me thinking generally about this idea of templating. So what I'm tending to do now is take an idea, like can you create an image of something, Halifax Central Library, as if it was designed by HR Geiger, and just template that with random replacing the image, the places, the buildings, and also the artist or the designer, whatever you want to do. So you can see here I've got, can you create an image of a random well-known building as if it was designed by a random well-known modern artist? tell me the building and the artist you chose. The reason why I do that is often it doesn't say what it's going to do, or it flashes up real quick. So if you're curious as to the combination, because sometimes it's often undiscernible as to what the building is and the artist necessarily for particular combinations. Some more than others, but yeah. Eiffel Tower as if it was designed by Pablo Picasso. I suppose it's more like if it was drawn by Pablo Picasso. And then, running with that, pick a random object and a random painter and create a painting of the object in the style of the painter. Tell me the object and the painter you chose. Banana and Vincent van Gogh. Now you may find, if we do this, let's try it again. So the idea is doing this to get ideas and then pin down the combination. So, oh no, it's going to change it. It's just alright, that's the second time. Both of those, I've done it after I've wiped this and it's come up with the same artist and the same object or building. So, and then to finish this session off, this is something I've been playing around a lot with, although again I'm often quite specific with the artist or the painter. The reason why I'm using painter, you can use artist, but I've noticed it will sometimes do a musician. Now I have no idea with some of the musicians it picked whether or not they are artists as in painters, or whether it's just using the term artist very loosely and then like riffing around that in some way. So again, choice of the word here is really just down to you. So create a picture of the Magic the Gathering card wooden sphere in the style of a random painter. Tell me the name of the painter. You could also say create a picture of a random Magic the Gathering card. Tell me the card and tell me the painter. Claude Monet as the painter. Interesting it's chosen that again. I did a quick run through before I recorded this video. Without the preamble, and I wonder if it's trying to save processing. I did notice the other night actually it did stop producing pictures for a little while. So I'm just doing this again. So we've got a wooden sphere in the style of Andy Warhol. Now again, I don't know if it's bothering to go away and look up a wooden sphere or just using the image of a wooden sphere. I will say, when I tried this with a specific named magic card, as in the name of a legend, oh no, was it? Did I do the name of a deck? Yeah, I think I said do something in the style of the deck and then the name of the deck. One of the characters from the deck or one of the creatures from the deck appeared in the background. I don't know if that was just luck, but yeah, so again, one of the reasons I'm doing this is leaving it fairly or one of my approaches, sorry, to doing this is to leave these artfully vague. So anybody that's interested in trying these can just use this as a a starting point and try their own combinations. So thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in the next video.